Okay, it's the next day. I'm going to upload this. I'm going to put this little piece first. And then I guess you can say my Punjabi rant. Because basically I went off in the fucking kitchen. Madder than a hornet. Okay? Because of what's going on with this. You don't like it, you can move. I'm not fixing anything. You don't pay enough rent. I want $3,000, so cough up another $850, because if you don't ask me for nothing. Like, seriously, people. Alright? So, it is... I'm trying to do something for my grandchild that has been forgotten about, in terms of the world is moving on at a very fast pace with everybody rushing to get to somewhere, right? And they're pushing and shoving and just whatever, you know, punching somebody out to knock them out so they fall down and so they can keep on going, and, you know, just ruthless shit that goes on so that they can get established. Some people just want to have a fucking place to live, or other people want 10 houses to live in, right? And then everybody else is in the middle. So, but they're all wanting the same. I don't know. So anyway, all right. This is what I've been thinking about. First of all, it's like just a little after 6:30 in the morning. Since about 6:15 a.m. Those Punjabis over there, right, that busted down that duplex and kicked out all those people from that duplex, 4 suites, just kicked them out. They're building, and they're coming in with their fucking beep, 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 at 6:15 in the morning, going up and down the alley. Oh, okay. All right. Now, before they busted down the house, and the people that were living there, some of them for 20 years, people, the quote-unquote property developer, right, bought the property and then basically didn't fix anything because they knew they were tearing it down. You see, this is what I get with this. Well, that place is going to get tore down. The property developer is going to buy it up, so we don't want to spend no money. Why? It's an old house. You don't like it, you can move. You want it fixed, you fix it. Whatever, right? There was an elderly couple that lived in that duplex for 20 years. Those Punjabis that think that people like me owe them something at age 30 because their people are so oppressed. So because I can't financially hand over $1 million to them personally, they think they have the right to abuse me and my family and take what they can wherever they can take it, because somehow we are undeserving of respect. Okay? So therefore, if the pipe is fucking broken, now that couple over there one was a native Canadian, like an Aboriginal woman, right, who worked for the government through the BC Liquor Board, right, which was a government employee with a government pension after the fact of retiring, okay? And her husband was white, all right? And he had health issues, people, okay? They lived in that fucking duplex for 20 years. And then these little motherfuckers with their little black turbans trying to shake people off the fucking rail to get rid of them, so they don't care if they fall and break their neck when they do it. They just get the fuck out of here, okay? That's what they were doing with that elderly couple who didn't look like them. So, there was a pipe in the bathroom that was broken, and they refused to fix it for the whole duration until finally they forced them out of that fucking duplex with that broken pipe still broken, okay, for a couple of 2-3 years, as they were working it out with the city, how to come in here and start ripping up the neighborhood because they're improving it. Those people lived like that until they fucking left, because the rich property developer refused to fix it because the house was being torn down anyway. This is what I'm talking about, that mental attitude, okay? because she used to tell me. And her husband was like ill, right? You know, and I seen it when I had that little house. Okay? I'm trying to save my daughter off the streets. Okay? We got tent after tent after tent after tent on both sides of the street, all the way up and down 2 fucking blocks, because of property developers and homeowners throwing people out of their suites because they either want more rent, kick them out, raise it by $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, right? Who cares if they end up in tent out in the fucking streets and then hopefully, preferably strung out on drugs, because then it's easier to manipulate them, control them, and then eventually harvest them. Okay? But ain't nobody talking about that, not in that fucking temple. Oh, God forbid. Because we're dealing with morally righteous fucking human beings here that don't even know or even understand what the word fucking criminal activity means. Because they're in denial, people. Okay? Oh, so, all right. I have the little house. Stay focused. This is why I'm going to upload this now, right? And then I'm going to go back in the kitchen with love for my grandson and the rest of my family members. Okay? My adult children, my grandchildren, and my in-laws, including Marina. All right? I'm just saying, because there's Alex. They're not my children, but they're my in-laws, and I care about them as much as I care about my kids and my grandkids. Okay. So, and, okay, so I get the little house. And it had plumbing problems. They liked their houses to have plumbing problems. Because with plumbing problems comes emotional problems. Because nobody likes to be dealing with shit and piss and grimy fucking water, backed up pipes, dirty dishes, laundry piling up, can't wash yourself, right? In terms of where do you flush the water out to, because it's just backing up into your fucking sink, or backing up into your laundry room, or backing up into your fucking garage, or backing up into your bathroom. All right. So I get that little house trying to save my daughter from out on the streets, right? Along with a few other people. The guy says, you can have it until I'm ready to tear it down, because I'm building myself a home. Because that's what I do. I build them, I live in them for a while, and then I sell them, and I go off and I build another one, and that's how I build wealth. Yeah, okay. So anyway, I'm like, okay, well, I'm desperate. I gotta get my daughter off the fucking streets. It's wintertime, right? Got videos on it, people. I'll look for them, and I'll try and provide them into this. That's why I'm working on the playlist, right? Because people forget this shit. You know, they take it for granted. All right, so I'm all happy. People move in. But I never been in that kind of situation before, so I know people have game, but the kind of games that they were coming in as hustlers to keep their little $350 welfare check, it kind of put me in the hole, because, I was trying to stay true to the landlord and make sure he get his rent as I was being ripped off, not getting mine from them, right? Or just, anyway. It wasn't long before we discovered, because that's usually how it works. You walk into the place, it's empty, it looks nice, the landlord seems to be a nice person, you trust in the landlord to have things working that are supposed to be working, and then when you move in within a week or 2 or 3, you find out that the fucking toilet's flooding. And it keeps flooding. And flooding. And flooding. And flooding. And the bathtub's not draining. And the bathtubs, right? So you call the landlord, and this is what was happening in this little house with a bunch of fucking people that came in off the streets, people, in terms of completely homeless, living in a fucking tent, freezing their asses off, okay? To move into a fucking place that's only quote-unquote temporary, 8 months to a year at best, right? Because it's being demolished. But something is better than nothing, right? And you have to stack and pack him in there, because he wanted $19.50 for the stupid thing, and it was a small 3-bedroom rancher, and technically it wasn't even that. It was a small 2-bedroom rancher that had a little fucking cubby that he turned it into a room to say that he had a 3-bedroom, right? So with people on welfare with the maximum amount of $375 per person, how many people do you think I had to rent just to be able to meet the rent? Right? Okay, so we got them stacked and packed in there to cover the greed of the landlord. Then we discovered that the pipe is broken in the bathroom. Not only is the toilet fucking backing up, but the bathtub is backing up. So he comes with his little snake, and he snakes it out. And within a few days, it does it again, and again, and again. And I'm like, well, you need to fucking get this done, fixed properly, because this is unhygienic, and right? And this is too much stress. Stress. Emotional stress. Oh, he never fucking fixed it, people. Always came with the same song and dance. Just ignored the problem. Just like my landlady is ignoring the problem. Right? I moved into this house. Every fucking pipe was leaking when I realized after the fact. Because they had me come in at nighttime, people. It was dark. And they rushed me through it and gave me an ultimatum. Take it now, we'll never raise the rent, and stay as long as you want. And because I came in with a reliable income in terms of, there was me with my kids, right? John and Joan. So between the three of us, they knew they would never have, and because I had so many dependent people upon me, they knew that we were going to be responsible tenants and pay our rent on time in the dollar amount that they requested. And that's why they didn't want me to walk away, because the next person could have came in, acted all nice, and then turned out to be maybe running a fucking shack, maybe setting up a grow room, maybe just deciding not to pay the fucking rent and wanted to squat for a while and then trash the house when they left, right? You know what I'm saying? Just because you look like you're a nice person doesn't mean that you are. So, I move in, and like I said, within a week and a half, couldn't do laundry for fucking 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, or whatever the hell it was like 2 weeks. Couldn't fucking wash dishes, upstairs, downstairs, couldn't do laundry, everything had to be done in the bathtub. Because of a pipe that she knew that was a problem before we even moved in. And then to discover that every fucking faucet is leaking. And then to discover within, a few weeks that every outlet up and down, and we're talking a lot of outlets here, were sparking because they were so old. What does that tell you about my landlords with their previous tenant? Were they doing the same thing with the previous tenant that they're doing with me now? Trying to force me out by not fixing things, insulting me, calling me fucking down, making fucking threats upon my family and myself to come into it with a bin and throw everything out as if I'm in some third world fucking country where I'm being attacked by the guerrillas. Some renegade fucking, I don't know. Right? This is like a war, people, only it's being done in a way where we can't protect ourselves. Okay? Because if people aren't capitalizing off of it directly, then they're going along with it because they don't want to be targeted themselves. So even though they might know that what's going on is wrong, they're not going to fucking stand up and fight on your behalf, on your side of the fence, because they don't want to be the next one's fucking targeted. So this, what you're going to see next after this, because I went off in the fucking kitchen, because I am so upset, because all I can think about is when it rains, if it clogs up, people, and it probably will, okay? There's a high probability that my son and myself, because I'm not going to leave him out there. I won't, people. I don't care. He can yell at me and whatever, but next time I'll be smarter. I just won't say shit. I'll just go pick up the fucking bucket and I'll just start bailing the fucking water into the fucking bucket while my son runs it up the fucking driveway so he can empty it out in the freaking, what do you call that thing? Alley, as Marina's there putting up the sandbags to prevent the water from coming into the fucking laundry room, even though it's coming up through the fucking floor, as she's bailing that out. Alex ain't nowhere to be seen because he's already left Canada. Fuck Canada. He went back to a beautiful island and took my daughter and saved his children, my grandkids, from this nonsense. Because this is the reason why they're leaving people. Because they can't afford to buy anything. Because it's being eaten up by some sort of ethnic so-called minority. No, they are not the minority. They are the majority. They are the ones that run the fucking government. They're the ones that are doing illegal activity in the community via illegal organ harvesting, because it generates largest amounts of money so that they can take that fucking money and put it back into the housing market and kick out more people. You know what I'm saying? And then bring more people from their fucking country so they can run around with their Visaki parade here bragging on about how fucking well they've done under the oppression of institutional racism by white people. Yeah, like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Maybe back 100 years ago, seriously, yeah, I could see it where they left them out on the boat. Whatever Indians at that time were coming from India and wanted to migrate to Canada, and they weren't allowed into Canada, and they had to fight the federal government, and that's what they still hold as a grudge after 100 fucking years to justify how they treat me and my family, who are unlike them in terms of we're not brown. Sorry, we weren't born that way. You hear the truck? Boom, boom, boom. Beep, beep, beep. Rattle, rattle, rattle. The fucking house shakes when they drive up and down the fucking road with their big ass fucking trucks. Yeah. So, you know, what, my landlady's gonna say I'm fucking racist because I talk about her people? From my perspective, not from her perspective? We already know what her perspective is. Stand on a fucking mountain with 7-inch fucking fuck me hills and just kick your fucking tenants down the fucking mountain so that you can remind them constantly that you're superior and that they will never succeed at anything because that's not their privilege. Because we have no rights. We're not afforded the privilege. And therefore, when we move into these fucking houses, with them smiling up in your face, acting like they're good fucking people, and then you find out that half of everything in the house doesn't fucking work. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So, before I moved in, all the fucking pipes were leaking. All the fucking outlets were fucking sparking. Right? I didn't know about the yard until spring came and I got out there, and holy shit, that was a fucking nightmare that kept me out there for 12 fucking years. We know that. We know what's going on with the damn porch for the last 14 years. Every fucking year I record how my shit's getting ruined because of their ineptitude to fucking try and at least make it so it doesn't fucking leak. They don't care. The more it leaks, that plumbing problem creates emotional problems. The more they can create emotional problems in you, the more they can control you, the more they can justify getting rid of you because you're upset. The more they can not take responsibility for the things that they do because somehow it becomes your responsibility to make them fucking rich, to make them fucking happy, to make them feel superior. It all comes down to them. And because there's so many of them, it becomes a siege where you're under attack. Because it doesn't matter where you fucking go, you get treated basically the same. So in other words, if my landlords were able to sell this house for their $3 million because they deserve it, right? And the new owner came along and said, that's it. We're tearing down the house. You knew it was coming That's why we never fucking fixed the house that much when you were living there, because it was just a matter of time, even though it took 20 fucking years to get there. So you lived in 20 years of fucking misery while you waited to be kicked out, to have no place to fucking go. But while you're still here, the new owner is going to say, but I'm tearing down the house. So it doesn't matter. I'm not fixing that fucking pipe. And if I do, I'm going to do a Mickey Mouse fucking job to make you think that maybe I did. But within 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, it's going to back right back up, because we know, you didn't fucking fix it right with intent. Because you wanted to keep us angry. You wanted to keep us depressed. You wanted to keep us upset. You wanted to keep us sad. You wanted to keep us in fucking wallow in fucking misery. In squalor. Because it's just a matter of time before 1 or 2 or 3 of us fall off the fucking grid and our organs become available so that you can wheel and deal in the black market to prop up the BC, British Columbia, Canadian fucking economy. Yeah. With your laundered dirty money. With organs on demand. And the cops covering it up because they don't want to be targeted. Or maybe they've been replaced with something that look like cops but maybe aren't the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, man. Because that's what we're dealing with. Okay? And I don't like thinking about this shit, people. I'm trying to stay positive. And that's the point. That's what I'm doing with Amari, right? And Andre, I'm slowly but surely easing him into having to look after Amari in a responsible kind of way. That's why he wants to learn how to can, because he understands the importance of it, right? So I have to teach him in little bits. I'm using canning as an example, in little bits and batches. So because it's a skill that you learn through confidence and doing it, right? The more you do it, the more confident you do it. The more confident you become, and then once you become confident, then it's done. He'll do it when he needs to do it or when he wants to do it. He'll teach his uncle how to fucking do it. Seriously. For himself or for Amari, it doesn't matter. The point is he'll know how to do it. But what? My landlady's gonna make him feel like he's gonna get fucking kicked out, lose his cats, know that we can't really go anywhere because he's not stupid. His uncle, there's no affordable housing. His aunt, there is no affordable housing. Well, it doesn't take a freaking 50-year-old, 80-year-old, 100-year-old person to understand what that means. So he fully understands. Well, my landlady's fucking raging around acting like, I don't know, people. Like assholes, like those ones over there. Right? Pay, but I ain't fixing. Because the house is going to be tore down anyway. If it's not one excuse, it's another excuse. It's another fucking excuse. Right? Excuse me. And I'm trying to shake it off. Because I know the game. I've been here for way too fucking long. I've worked on the foundation for way too fucking long. I've been around these people for way too fucking long. And I don't see their behavior getting any better. All I see is getting worse, people. Worse. And they're more vicious about it. And they do it in such an insidious kind of way that, it's, I don't want to say it's beyond repair, because they're stuck in their ways. They like being the way they are. They justify it. When my landlady brought her son, and they set me up with that, oh, let's go look at the window. We're looking at the window. She's standing behind me. I turn around. She's got her fucking cell phone at me, smirking. And I'm like, holy shit, right? I'm wondering if she's shooting me up with fucking energy weapons just because it was a setup, right? But at that time I wasn't thinking about that. I just turned around and she was like, whatever people do with their cell phones, but it was directly facing at me, and she was doing something. And then I'm talking to her son, about the window because maybe he wanted it, right? But that's not what it was, people. That was just the excuse to come by to the house. And then they walked me to the front, exactly where that energy weapon that I have from 2012 that went through my yard, through the grass. They had me standing in the almost the exact same position where that energy weapon is being documented from 2012 that travels through. And that's when her son just went off on me, people. And like, fuck, I'm bringing in bins. If you don't give us $3,500 a month, that's it. I'm coming in with the bins. I'm evicting you. And this came out of nowhere. Nowhere. I was canning. I was doing a fucking video. And then when I came inside, I was in tears. And everything went cloudy. Cloudy. And it stayed like that for a long time because my eyes are dying. Okay? The octave nerves are dying. Whatever they fucking did taught me over the fucking edge where I came inside from outside after being assaulted, basically, with threats. Okay? And maybe quite possibly energy weapons in light of what the circumstances were at the time, right? It didn't clear out for well over an hour, people. It was cloudy. Little did I know my octave nerves were dying fast. But the point is, they know that what they're doing is wrong. They know that it's illegal. Because if it wasn't illegal, they would have gotten me out of here by now. Right? As they speak with forked tongue saying, well, we care. No, you don't care because you don't treat me like you care. Okay? Maybe Mr. Gill at one time cared. But he's not strong enough to stand up against his whole fucking family. Because the whole fucking family is basically this way because of the grandmother or the mother in regards to Mrs. Gill. Because she's the viper. She's the one that's running around at 84 years old looking for fucking money. Okay? Because, she got to pay for this and she got to pay for that. And, right? One time, and this is another way how they justify not fixing the house. Because we know that if they got rid of me, they'd come in, do something, maybe not, right? And then they're going to rent it out for $4,500 a month. So they're going to get more than double their money by getting rid of me. That's a fact. If not more money now, because of just at the rate that they're raising the rent. At the rate that they are. Not the government. It's them that are raising the rent. And they raise it as a collective. Right? To justify their behavior. Because if everybody else is charging that, then therefore I have a right to charge that. And if you can't pay that, you're fucking trash. Get the fuck out of here. We don't care how we terrorize you while you're moving. Because that's basically right in terms of we're going to bring in the bins. We're not going to fix the fucking pipes. We're not going to fix this. No. You take it, whatever, right, until eventually that's it. You're gone. And then they just proceed to do what they want and call that good business. Because that's what my landlady's son said. This is good business. Give me $3,500 a month and get the fuck out. I'm coming in with bins. I said, how the fuck can you talk to me like, oh, it's good business? Yeah, okay, that's good business. And then don't tell me that shaking me off the fucking rail, right, isn't a warning. Okay, isn't a fucking war. Because first of all, I don't even know you from fucking Adam. Half of you that are here in this country can't even speak fucking English. Don't want to. Right? Sure in the hell don't care about the fucking community as a whole. Right? Because that's, proof in the pudding. Proof in the pudding. Already done there, been there, done that. With the foundation. Hell, I got one fucking board director that ran off with my freaking foundation certificates saying he was going to go get $2 million for the nonprofit. And now, if I phone him today on the fucking phone, say, hey, I want those certificates, I need them. Oh, well, who are you? I don't know. Like, fuck you. Hang up on me. Well, motherfucker, you're still a fucking board director because you still have those fucking certificates. So take me to fucking court to take your name off of my foundation that maybe you did get $2 million for, because in terms of a quote-unquote donation, because you're the one with the fucking certificates, but he won't give them back to me. Why? Why? Because he doesn't want me to be successful. He doesn't want people like me or my people around me that are similar to me, right? Don't want them to be successful. And there might be too much power to take away from the Punjabis, take it away from the fucking Sikhs, take it away from the fucking Hindus when they're partnering up with another ethnic group just to carry on with their behavior. Because if the Punjabis are raising the rent, you know the Hindus are raising the rent, and you know the Chinese are raising the fucking rent. While families like mine, are being human trafficked. Bottom line. With broken fucking pipes to keep us upset. Bottom line. And then it's a jab here and a jab there, and you never know when it's fucking coming. Yeah. And that's what my videos show. So if you're gonna get $3 million on this fucking house, and you know it, it's just a matter of time. And you know it's being torn down, but just not yet. But it's just a matter of time. Why would they fix the fucking pipes after they get rid of me and bring in a new tenant, charge them $4,500 a month, and then they're going to start the process all over again? Oh, well, we didn't know that the pipe was backing up. The previous tenant never told us. Oh, we didn't know that the garage flooded here and there once in a while. You never know when it's going to fucking come. They dealt with it. Don't worry, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. And then after a few years, like me, because they're going to get them to go and clean up the quote-unquote yard. Yeah. Build this and dig into your pocket. You pay for fucking nails. You pay for this. You pay. Build. To make you think that you have a fucking home. To make you think that you have a fucking sense of security. To make you think that you have a fucking quality of life in a country called Canada. Right? To make you think that you can move forward in your life and have a quality of family life if you just build enough and dig out the fucking sand and, and just whatever needs to be done on the outside, because, they're not going to do anything because they're old or they're too busy, right? For some reason or another, when you rented the house in the dark without even looking at the fucking yard, because that's when they had you come in, was in the dark, so you couldn't even look in the yard if you wanted to, and then gave you an ultimatum, take it now or leave it, and you took it because of the corruption in the fucking community. And then you wake up and you look at the yard, it becomes an automatic fucking, by default, you become responsible for it. You're stuck with it. You don't have a choice. You can't phone up the landlord and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, but you took it as is, right? You're going to have to deal with it because I'm old. I can't do it. My sons are busy. Blah, 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 blah. Enjoy yourself. Don't worry. Just do what you can. Blah. And then, fuck, that's it. You're in that slave. You're a slave with a fucking metal chain on your neck with a metal, what is that, a choker collar? With a metal choker collar on, with a fucking big-ass chain-link fucking chain. Okay? Working in the yard. Like a field, you-know-what. Right? Yeah. That's exactly where they're gonna fucking put you. And then, when something breaks, oh, don't worry, I'll come fix it in 3 months from now. Or maybe in 2 years from now. But if you can get somebody out in the streets cheap, you let them come and come fix it for you. Yeah, okay. You do that enough fucking times and see how far it gets you in life. As you pay for it. You don't think they're not going to fucking do the same stupid shit that they've been doing to me? Because yes, they are, people. Because they were doing it to the fucking previous tenants. And those leaky pipes, and this is the point, those leaky fucking pipes, faucet through every outside, inside, upstairs, downstairs, every fucking tap was leaking. And all the fucking, and when I started plugging things in and kids was plugging, oh fuck, man. And then I had to fucking plead and beg for her to fucking change everything. And then the guy came second time, came to do the outlets, right? because it was dangerous, right? He went downstairs, and it turned out he didn't even do them. And then I had to phone her back, and I had to plead for her to fucking have a different guy come and do them properly. And then she held that against me, as if I was the fucking problem because I was costing her money as soon as I moved in. Yeah, okay, maybe those things should have been fixed before I moved in, right along with the fucking pipes. And faucets. There's a difference between faucets and pipes. So all you got to look forward to when you fucking move is, first of all, live where you are and just accept the fact that things won't get fucking fixed properly. And if they do, it's going to be a heartache and nothing but a fucking heartache. Enough so that it might give you a fucking heart attack, but who fucking cares? Because that's just more to profit off of. Basically. Okay? One way or another. You know, because it goes through that pipeline. Into the healthcare system. It goes into the pipeline. And once it's in the fucking pipeline, well, we know what happens, right? If you got good teeth, well, they're going to pull them out and sell them off over here. If you got a good fucking heart, well, we got a whole bunch of so-and-sos, no ethnic group, Pacific, standing in line with a bunch of moolah, because they're saving their money, right? They're saving their fucking money when they're not fixing things. Why do you think they don't fix things? It's not just keep people like my family derailed, arguing, depressed, sad, whatever, everything negative when it comes to loose harvesting. Right? So it's clear, it's clear that these people have no interest in seeing my family succeed at anything. Never mind be healthy. Because if that wasn't true, if it would be the opposite, I'd have more time, a better sense of I don't even know what the word is. It's like being grounded, right? You know, where you're just comfortable with the idea that you can be a positive, productive human being and move forward in life in a positive, productive kind of way where it benefits society in general because you are a positive, productive human being to the best of your capabilities. That's not what they're interested in. No, they want them dysfunctional. The more dysfunctional, angry, upset, sad, brokenhearted, whatever, they can get you as a targeted group to exploit, the more successful they become. And the less dysfunctional, the less, I tried to put successful and dysfunctional together. The less successful and dysfunctional, the less let's get this right. The less success, oh my God. The less, right? As in less, right? The less successful you are, the more dysfunctional you become. And that's why they don't fix things. And that's why they constantly fucking gaslight you year after year after year. And if they're not doing it on a one-on-one, they're coming in with their little fucking tactics, with the gang stalking, and then they bring in the fucking politics where if I want to move, I better be prepared to cough up $35,000, $4,000, $45,000, $5,000 just for a broken down fucking house that's going to be torn down anyway, so that they can excuse themselves from fixing fucking things as they stood up there and lie in your face and act like they didn't fucking knew about it in terms of the problems when you moved in because the last tenant didn't tell them. Yeah. You get the point. I don't know how to explain it other than to give you the way I said it. That's what tens of thousands of people or more are facing every day in this province because of people like my landlady and her family and their politics and when it relates to good business. Okay? So how can I shake that off, people, knowing what's coming, knowing where I've been, knowing what the present is? Because she ain't phoning me. She hasn't phoned me to talk about this fucking pipe. I don't think Alex is phoned yet. He needs to phone and just remind her that this is serious, right? My son, not yet, because I told my son, wait till Alex talks to her. But even if Alex talks to her, it's not going to matter, people, because she's already got it in her brain that she doesn't have to fix it because somehow she's the victim. I'm the one taking advantage of an elderly person because my landlady's 84. Because that's what her son, when he was fucking threatening to take my bins out and telling me I needed to pay $3,500 a month. And I'm like, I don't have it. I can't. And that's not right. Oh, well, you're taking advantage of my elderly mother. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Right? As the tears are building, the eyes are clouding, and then I come inside after the fact and I'm fucking can't see shit for like over a fucking hour because of whatever happened out there just whacked it out of freaking into the left field far out that you can't even see where the damn ball went to. Because I was probably zapped with some kind of energy weapon, people. Because they positioned me right in a position where I have documented proof of energy weapons going through my fucking yard in 2012. And before it would hit them, it would hit me. They're the ones with all the money. They're the ones that can afford the technology. They're the ones that partner up with the fucking city. Right? To tear down house after house after house after house after house after fucking house as they exploit the poorest of the poor, as they exploit the elderly, as they exploit the fucking disabled, as they exploit the orphans, as they exploit the young Canadians that are coming up, you know, like Marcaine and his wife, quote unquote, you know, would like to buy a house but never can because how is it even possible? Half their family's fucking dead on my side. So it's not like my son has anyone to say, hey sis, can you help me with buying my first home? Unlike these fucking monster houses with millions of people living inside of them, all plotting and scheming how to get rid of more people so they can accumulate more wealth for themselves with their building schemes. Right? So I'm like, oh, Judy, just, you can't, you know, I told you, I'm stuck, people. So I have to shake it off. And just wait for the blows. Forget the fucking posts. This is fucking blows, okay? I just have to wait for them. And I have to mitigate a strategy where I don't feed into that loosh harvesting and give them what they want any more faster than I'm capable of preventing that from happening. Because no matter how hard I try and control my emotions, we know they're going to come to the surface one way or another, right? Okay? But I can't let it control me. Oh, that's what I'm trying to say. Right? I can't let it derail me from doing what I need to do for Amari. Right? I love Amari. Andre loves Amari. Marcaine, he keeps an eye on Amari. If something happened, he'd be in there like a dirty shirt. Same thing as for Tisha. They're just not in, they haven't, you know, whatever. Okay? The point is, I love Andre. right? Andre needs time. Okay, if Mrs. Gill and her family, because it's not just Mrs. Gill. Mr. Gill told me, I told you people, he'd sit at the fucking table with 12 around him, and he was the only one who ever fought in my fucking behalf. Everybody else were plotting and scheming how to get rid of me because they wanted more money on the fucking house. So they tried every strategy under the book. But little did they know that they built themselves their own fucking graves, because once they kicked me out, knowing I have no place to go, blind as a bat, elderly, aging on, right? With disabled child, severely, not just mild, but severely, with a orphan, with half a family already dead, in part because of the politics that are going around in this province when it comes to trafficking body parts and whatnot, and snatching up old people's money. Right? Like, that's their karma. That's their fucking karma. Oh yeah. I didn't build that for them. They built that for them fucking selves. Right? But you see, it's like water off a duck's back. It doesn't seem to bother them. Like, no, because they don't let me have peace. They don't let me feel safe. They don't let me feel like I have a fucking future. They don't let me feel like I'm accomplishing something and that they value it, unless of course it's perfect, and even then it's never fucking perfect, because they would still use something against me when they're not getting enough fucking money, right? You know what I'm saying? So you know, I want to end this video because I have to, you know, like, but Andre needs time. He needs time to learn how to look after Amari. You can't, you know, yesterday, because I was canning, right? And that will be the next video. I'll show you what I can, and I'll try not to talk about this stuff too much, okay? That's why I'm getting it off my chest now. I want to finish the rest of what I got to do with that love, and stay on track with why I'm doing it, and not get discouraged, and, you know, stay focused on the cookbook, and, you know, and give Andre time to grow into being a contributing member to at least our little 3-unit family, and then have it extend out to Uncle Marcane and Marina and Tisha or whatever. But ultimately it's Andre, Amari, and me, right? So he has to, and I tell him, Andre, right, it's okay to grow up. We know what's going on. It's just a matter of time before I can't do it. So, you know, you're either going to want to do it or you don't. If you don't do it, this will be the consequences. If you do it, this is a good sign of where things can go to, but you're not going to get there unless you practice and know how to do these things, right? So I leave the choice to him, basically. But then on the other hand, yesterday I was in the kitchen doing whatever, and he actually changed Amari 3 times. Now, for a 14-year-old boy, I think that's pretty damn good, especially when it's not in his nature, quote unquote. You might get a better response from a girl, because girls tend to be a little more nurturing, where a boy is a little more different, right? Not all boys, some are, you know, right? So I'm just using that as an example. You know, he gave him pudding, right? He wiped his face. That's what I mean by he has to grow into it. Just like the canning. He wants to can. So I'm going to finish what I'm going to do today, and I'll put on another camera video just because, right? Right? To try and break away from this negative energy that I'm wrapped up in right now over that emotionally draining situation with those pipes. Pipe. It's pipe. Well, there's a one in the laundry room, but anyway, you know, I feel like she's, you know, she, right, my landlady and her family are cutting Andre's, because he's a little bit behind, right, in terms of emotional development and all that other crap, because first of all, we have different circumstances, right, and situations and whatever, and so, but on the other hand, he's well advanced in other areas, like, for example, Jude, who is almost the same age as Andre, you know, spends a lot of time by himself because he's an only child and his mom works and whatever. And but if he had to change Amari and do, you know, sit with him and do all that, like, no, it wouldn't work, because where Andre, you know, he's pretty good, right? He's learning. But there's other things he has to learn. So with the canning, he wants to learn. So I'm going to finish, today I'm going to can the pork with the pork broth. Hello? With the pork broth, and I've got a little bit of beef broth left, so I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do the beets with them because the beets is only 30 minutes, I think it was, for a pint, where I'm going to be doing 75 minutes with the broth and the pork, right? I've already done the beef. I just had to finish it, right? Like, you won't see me, you'll just see me slamming down a fucking pot. And then I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna, and all I did, people, was I took all that beef, put it back in, put that broth back into the freaking, I think I did record something there, I don't know. Anyway, whatever, it is what it is. And, I'm gonna do the plums tomorrow, start them. Juicing, right? Because they're ready. They're either ready or they're not. With a bit of apple, and then once that's done, that juice can go in the fridge, so that over the next 2 days or so, probably. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can, right? 2 days, but I'm exhausted, and it doesn't help what my landlady's doing. And that's the point. That's why they do it, because they want you tired. They want you depressed. They want you sluggish. They want you to make mistakes. They want you to be fearful so that, you know, you'll make even more mistakes and you'll be easier to get rid of or to control in terms of cough up that fucking money. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And even if you fucking coughed up the money, it would be within a year before they'd be coming back, banging on the door, asking for more and doing the same bullshit, not fixing things, threatening to kick you out, you know, telling you that whatever, you don't like it, you can move. It's just stupid shit. And you go from fucking house to house to house as each house is being torn down by them. Yeah, okay, what a great fucking life in Canada that is, isn't it now? Hey? Yeah, but that's all my fault. Because what? I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my fucking mouth? I chose to found a legitimate foundation to help my community, not destroy it? Yeah, okay. After I can, I'm going to end it now. After I can the plums, I ain't bothering Andre about it for these 2 sessions, right? And then I'm taking my big canner and I'm putting it downstairs. And then in about 2 or 3 months from now, it depends how fast I go through the juice, right? The whole purpose is to can the juice, to use the juice to supplement the organic prune juice that I do buy to cut down my cost, so that I can write that into my cookbook to help other families figure it fucking out under stress, like me. They might be stressed out, but they won't have to fucking figure it out, because at least they'll have a little guide, and they won't lose their loved one to the corrupt politics within the community, so that other people can get rich and you can end up in a fucking tent. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't let homeless people be in tents anymore. No, they're just bringing in legislation that when they get real crazy on the drugs, as they're freezing their asses outside, roaming the streets because they have no place to go, they're just going to lock them up into a mental institution. Isn't that interesting? I find that to be very interesting. And they're already locking up people. Because when I worked on Uncle John's lawsuit, they lock up something like 10,000 people in the province of British Columbia, Canada, with many of them not wanting to be there and can't get out. Nope. One little old lady, oh, how old was she? I have it printed out in my paperwork. She went into fucking hiding. Yeah. Because the government, assigned themselves with their guardian and public trustee. And the family that wanted her were fighting to get her because she had assets, right? But she didn't want to live with them. She wanted to live with her immediate family, kind of like Uncle John. She didn't want to be with Eleanor that he hadn't seen for 50 fucking years, except for maybe once a year at his mother's birthday party. Outside of that, that was his relationship with Eleanor, which was, they had no relationship until she decided she wanted to steal his money. Well, it was the same situation with that little old lady. She was like 80-something, 82 years old or something like that. And she had to go into hiding because they were going to force her to go live with them so those people could take over her fucking, be the executor of the estate or power of attorney, make all the decisions, do all this shit. So she went into fucking hiding. Yeah. To be with the other family that she wanted to be with. Yeah. And that's how I came into the information that there's like more than 10,000 people already, even before this legislation has come into effect, being locked up illegally, unlawfully detained through the healthcare system. Yeah. And now they're bringing in legislation to lock up even more people, to whom they're referring to the homeless people. Yeah, well, I wonder why there's such a high number of homeless. Nobody really talks about that. No, they like to just blame drugs, fentanyl. Yeah, it was the fentanyl that made them homeless. No, it was the ruthless activities of people that come to this country to traffic human beings for profit. And then call that good business. So, as long as we know knowledge is power, right? As long as we know what's going on, and we know, okay, because I've explained it to you. Whether you accept it or not, I guess it really depends if you're a good person or a bad person, okay? That's between you and your God, if you even have a God, okay? And so I got to get back on what I'm doing. So my next video will be just talking about the pork. We'll pick up with the pork and the pork broth, because that's still in the fridge. Beautiful beef broth. I'll wash the jars, because I need to get motivated here, people. I have to feel good about what I'm doing, because I'm tired. I'm tired. So when you're tired, it's hard to do things. And if you're not careful, depression can creep in. And once that depression gets in, oh boy. And then if you get lost with just being overwhelmed with too much to do, then, okay. So, I feel good about washing the jars that are in the canner right now. I'll line them all up. We'll talk about what's inside. We'll see where the head spaces are at. We'll look at the color of the broth, which is beautiful, by the way. Oh, yeah. And, that's those smaller things in life that make you feel good. This is what I want you to get in touch with, okay? For your own troubles and woes. Just look for something small that makes you feel good. Doesn't matter what it is. In this situation, is bone broth, okay? And then we'll go on to juice. Yeah. Now, whether I just finish up with what I'm doing and then upload it and then start fresh with the juice remains to be seen. It really depends how much I... And honestly, I don't want to talk about my landlady and her antics and her family. That's that loose harvesting. That's what they want, you know. I'm not saying I won't, because clearly I'm upset. I'm worried, people. I am so worried when it gets fucking cold and it starts raining. And if we got to go out there and start bailing, like, honest to God, if we get fucking gangrene because of this stupid shit, because the water is freezing fucking cold, and we're both out there bailing, and you know, you're in the water. Okay, where we have to bail, the water gets really high. So, like, when I was out there, my boots got completely saturated. In other words, my feet were soaking wet, and I was soaking wet. And then with the rain coming, you get literally saturated, right? And if it's freezing out there, and it doesn't take long before your hands begin to freeze with really cold water. And in like half an hour to an hour. No plumber coming. Even if you had boots on, it wouldn't matter. You're saturated. Even if you had fucking gloves on, it wouldn't matter. You're saturated. How are they going to explain that one? That's worst case scenario. Your fingers die because they've got frostbite from the icy water. Because the drain won't fucking drain. Right? That's the game we're playing here. That's the run the fucking chamber, empty it all in one clip, boom, 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 and then load up as fast as you emptied it, because it's just a matter of time before it fucking rains, and my son and I are back out there doing this shit. We just can't guarantee at what time of year. And if we get, you know, our skin dies because it froze so much while we're in panic, and because we're in panic, we don't feel it, right? It would be too late. And we start, you know, getting gangrene and having to cut off our fucking fingers or our toes because of my landlord's negligence with their family, as they're accusing me of being the problem because I don't pay enough fucking rent, even though the problem was here the minute I moved into this house, and they hid it from me because clearly it's a pattern. If all the fucking soffits are leaking, pipes are backing up, all the outlets are fucking sparking, you can't tell me that the previous tenant didn't say something about it. Of course they did. But finally they got ran out. And then they jacked the rent before I moved in. And then when they realized that what was going to be happening a few years later, after they worked me like a dog in the fucking yard with that whip on my back, right? And, you know, they're trying to get rid of me then. Just like they're trying to get rid of me now. And for what? To sell the house and tear it down. Work it to the ground. If they got rid of me today, I'm going to leave it on this. Actually, I should go check that little bugger because he's sneaky. You got quiet. What are you doing? I hear you. Let me go check on him. Okay, I had to change him and everything. Oh man, what a difference between Pampers and Huggies. Oh, I like Pampers. I really, really do. That's another cost that I'm going to have to factor in, I suppose, on a monthly basis, because I can't continue using these Huggies with my laundry fucking piling up. Oh no, it's too much work. It's crazy. So, no, I'll finish this video. I'll stay positive. I'm already getting tired because I've been up since like 5:30 this morning, 5 o'clock or whatever the hell it is. These guys started at 6:15 in the morning with their beep, beep, beep. Just whatever. Right? And, no, I mean, what I gotta do, well, it'll be a long day, but besides that point, I'm gonna try and do it with a good attitude. So I'm glad that I've done what I've done in terms of the pork. Well, I don't technically, quote unquote, have enough pork jars designed specifically for Amari. But regardless, the few jars that I'm going to get with the little bit of broth, I'll be happy with. And so I'm thinking, right, because I have to push past my landlord's negativity, right? I have to insulate myself from being assaulted, okay? And again, I don't know when it's going to come. I don't know how it's going to fucking happen. I kind of know some things in terms of like, you know, like when she's going to come to raise the rent. I want $3,000. Well, I can't give that to you. Well, what are you going to give me? That's what she said. How much you going to give me? And the first time around, we gave her the 100 because we knew that she wouldn't be satisfied with the going rate at 3% or whatever the hell it is, the legal rate, right? And then 8 months later, she came back, said it wasn't enough. She wanted more, so then we gave her another 100 because she's slowly but surely squeezing me out. And then when this shit happened, she demanded $3,000 a month and expects that from me now. Not including when her son came and demanded $3,500 a month and threatened to throw me out with my shit going into garbage bins. Like bins, like the big canister bins, those kind of bins. If I didn't give him $3,500 a month. And that's when my eyes went gray, cloudy for well over an hour after the fact of that happening to me. We know she doesn't want me to succeed in any kind of capacity, whether it's on a personal level or on a social level, because if it was on a social level, I'd have more opportunities in my fucking country. Forget the community. How about my country, right? Where it's equal and fair, right? And, you know, falls under the Charter of Human Rights in terms of you're entitled to a fucking safe place to live with, you know, respect and, or whatever, right? Dignity, more like dignity, right? Anyway, okay, that's what I mean. I don't want to harp on this shit. So I'm going to try really hard on the next video to not harp on it. I might mention it. Something new will come to my mind that I might want to mention, but I don't want to harp on it because I can't, you know, you can't change a leopard's spots. You can't change a tiger's stripes, right? People don't want to change. Sometimes they just like who they are and what they are, and they believe in their best practices when it comes to good business, and you know, lots of things motivate people to be the way they are. So with that said, I'm glad I did what I did with the meats because it gives me an opportunity to add, because I'm still trying to make my chapters. I'm trying to figure out what I want for chapters, right? So I do have like food groups. Like I'm pretty sure I have a chapter for food groups. In terms of, yeah, food groups. And then you have your main food groups. And then you have your supplements. Whether they're supplemental drinks provided by, or you choose to use them yourself, depending on your income level. Or whether they're bought like organic prune juice, right? As a supplement, right? So basically, it seems to be working because I just changed him, and he was struggling there for a couple of days. But that's because we gave him those drinks for sure. Hold on a minute. I've had the heat on, and it gets, you know, it's dry and itchy throat and whatever. I had to blow my nose. So anyway, I do have a section here for food groups, and then there would be, you know, and then following that would be the supplements to the main food groups, right? So in this situation, I have to break up the food groups into sections and then insert these meat products into that section. Because it's like, you know, when you're making a book, you go to the index, right? You go to the index to find what you want to look for, right? So you look in the index to find the page where you can find meat products, for example. So I guess I need more sticky tapes or something. I don't know. Different colors. Small ones would be better. I don't have any small ones. I don't see no small ones here. Oh. Oh, here we go. Don't forget, I struggle with this too, right? With the eyes, eh? So being that I'm working on meat, I'm now adding in a section where I can have a general reference to the different types of meats, a general reference to the approximate amount of calories based on a certain amount of that meat, a general list of the nutrients in that meat, assuming that it was raised properly. Because you have to remember, I have to motivate people to want to do this for their loved ones. And if they're being stressed out like I am, I mean, that's enough to make people shut down and not want to do anything. Because they start to give up. Like my landlady wants me to pack up my house to fucking give up. Knowing what she knows in terms of there is no affordable housing. But she can't seem to get rid of me fast enough. So she can get more money before she sells this house. So that tells me that she wants me to lose everything. Because there is no other way around it. Oh God. There, we got a little meat section. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it's a start. That's what I need to stay focused on. Can you hear it? Like, seriously, man. Do you hear it? And the wind is picking up. Yeah. I got up at 7 something this morning, and it's been raining ever since. And now this clock says 9:30. So for 2.5 hours, it's been raining. I already sent Andre outside into the basement to see what the hell is going on. And he says it seems to be okay at this point. But the rain is now starting to pick up. Okay, so I took the beef bones out of the pot. And there's a lot of bone marrow mixed right into the broth. Which I am just going to take this broth now. I don't know if this is going to be tall enough. I have taller ones. Actually, oh, it's so hard to get to things. What?
I don't want to scare you.
Yeah, thanks. It's so hard because don't forget, I have to put meat in this yet, right? So, and I need to make room. I need to make room for the canner. So I don't know. Oh, these bones have marrow in them. Some of them. So I want to take out the marrow and put it into the broth. Because that's what we want, right? That's what builds collagen, that kind of stuff. You know? There's a lot of liquid here, so for sure I'm going to have to I need to get the canner ready as I'm doing this. So this is good. It'll be alright. And then we're going to turn that on low. Now it seems to appear to be a little greasy, and it probably is. But I don't want to skim it off too much because I don't want to skim off that bone marrow, right? And lose it. So, I don't know. We'll just leave it like that for now. Give him 2 puddings, please. Here, Master Chef.
Master Chef.
Master Chef. After I'm done doing what I'm doing, the next time I'm, what do you call it? Canning, you're going to be doing. You're going to do all the prep work. You're going to learn how. He wants to anyway. So I'm just pushing out the bone marrow gently. Right? Now these small little bones, because it's stewed for so long, have basically deteriorated, but I have to be careful. Now they're going to be in the pressure canner for 75 minutes, this whatever I'm doing here. So if any little teeny weeny bone gets through, see this. This is what we want. That's the bone marrow. Alright, we want that. And then after I'm done this, I'm going to suck on the bones. Then I'm going to throw them outside into the yard. It'll be calcium for the dirt. Eventually it'll just go into the dirt. See? There's a little bit of fat. It's a different kind of fat, right? Yeah. Now I'm trying really hard not to be blue. Right? Not to fall victim to that loose harvesting that's coming in my direction. Now I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to go into here and I'm going to feel around and see if I can feel a sharp little bone. And I'm just going to break up the fat, everything. I'm going to do it because it's good. Because it's a little bit of fat, but mostly bone marrow. So I'm just going to break it up into pieces. Yeah. That's the wind blowing, cracking that window that's hanging on with gray tape. Literally. Which reminds me, I have to go buy more gray tape and tape it up. Again. The window to the frame. Because that's the original door. For probably as old as the house. And the frame, the whole thing needs to be replaced because the window jumps the frame because the frame's all bent up. Stupid. And then because it grinds and groans and screeches and gets stuck as you're trying to open and close the door. The window starts to shift within the frame, and then you get a 1/4-inch gap all the way down, up a little bit on the top, with the window barely hanging on. So it's like stupid. That's why we go all the way around oftentimes, because it's just so cumbersome and it's dangerous. Right. It's not one thing, it's something else outside. And then if I say something, they say, I've been told that, well, you don't live outside, so what does it matter? We're not fixing it. You don't live outside. You don't live on the porch, so we're not fixing the porch. Yeah. Or we can't fix the porch because the house is designated for demolition because of property development. So therefore, we'd have to go and, get permission from the city and blah, blah, blah. And they would deny us because the house is going to be demolished anyway. So it doesn't matter what I ask when it comes to anything outside, on the porch, whatever. If the window breaks, it shards into big shards of glass. It's not tempered glass, and that's what makes it dangerous. And it's broken like 3 times since I've lived here for different reasons, and it just gets replaced with glass, and then it's not long before it starts losing, the frame itself starts losing the what do you call it, its shape, to where the glass is barely hanging on, and then I have to use gray tape to tape it on. And then the one time where I thought maybe I got lucky and somebody was willing to change it, because she doesn't want to pay for a brand new window that would actually fit that, square footage in terms of the size of the window. You're right. If she wants a used window, which wouldn't fit, which means they have to build in on the frame to fit in that window. And anyway, finally, I found somebody that was willing to do that, but he wanted her to buy the material first, like pay half of the bill. The bill was like $3,000, $3,500 or something like that. But he didn't trust her because she was Punjabi. So he said, I'm not doing anything until she at least pays for the material. And then she said, well, I'm not paying for anything because I don't want to be ripped off. And it never got done. And I feel like it was one big setup. Yeah. So there you go. That's all the marrow, little bit of fat that was on the bone with the beef. So that's going into the broth as is. All right. Now this is going to be greasy, so I don't know. I can see it already. I don't really feel it per se. I mean, I probably could degrease it a little bit. I'll let it just sit for a little while longer. It's just, well, I suppose I could degrease it, and then after degreasing it, I could come back with my fingers and pull out that kind of stuff, which is the bone marrow. But otherwise, it tastes like beef bone broth. But it will taste better. Oh yeah, it will taste better after I put the beef in. At least half. Really nothing you can suck out of these ones. The joys of cooking. That's so good. That's why dogs like them. The coyotes will find it, or the raccoons. And what they don't eat. That's so good. We'll go in the garden. And just add Latrice Allen likes her crabs. I like my beef bones. I have to get it out. So good. Can't get it all though. It's too far in. Oh man, this is so good. You don't even know. It's comfort food. It's comfort food for me. I'm so stressed out with what's going on. That was even better. It's enough for me just to walk around and finish the job. And then start with the plums tomorrow. Although I think I'm going to have to can twice 75 minutes, and I don't know if I'll be able to do 2 today. Right? Unless, if I can get all the meat in, all the beef and all the pork in one sitting, get that done, then I could, or I think I'll show that one. I could, like this stuff. I love that stuff. That's the fat. I could can the stock. I could can the stock, because that's only like, I don't know, 25 minutes, 20 minutes in a pint size. And then I'd be completely done if I can do that today, up until the evening. So I should probably try and get all the meat, all of it, into the canner. So I can cut, I don't know, cut, what? 75, 50 minutes? 55 minutes off my canning time? Because the, what do you call it? Oh, that's so good. Because all it would be broth. Now, if I left it for another 24 hours, this was a little over a 24-hour period that it sat there and did this, right? So the bones are still holding their shape. For the most part, they're a little soft on the inside here, but not by much. If I would have left it for another 24 hours, it would have been a lot more softer. But then it starts to change the taste of your bone broth, because it gets really bony then. In terms of, I guess, what a bone would taste like, I suppose. With that, it's still pretty beefy. There. That's my energy drink. So good. Yeah. Now you see, I can throw the bones outside, wash everything, get my canner out with a bit of water in it, ready to go, wash my jars, which will go fast. I already cleared off my counter here, tidied up a little bit in there. A lot of canning jars that we're either going to open up and use, talk about, or there's a couple there that need to be put away, like that chicken broth, right? It's just, I ain't trying to struggle to get into my room at this point. And but I got my counter, so that's good. Meat's cut. What I should do, yeah, see, I see 2 layers of grease. I see actual grease. Like when it looks like oil. Oh, and before I do this, I want to grind up those potatoes. So I'm going to grind up the potatoes while my counters are clear, and then I'm going to get into this. I see a level of grease, because I see shadow. Right, so in this situation, it looks like a cooking oil. Because again, that top layer that's floating on top of this, right underneath this oil, you know, a lot of that is the it's related to the bone marrow as well, right? So I'm a little reluctant to skim it all off. I don't want to. But if I can skim off at least a little bit of this clear oil, which I'm trying, let's see if I can show you, if you don't know. And of course you see better than me, right? I see shadows. Okay. Do you see how that kind of looks like a cooking oil? Do you see the peanut oil? They're similar, right? You don't really want that. But it's so thin. You can barely see it. It's not even an eighth of an inch. So, oh gosh, sure, get it all over the counter. So if you can take off even just a little bit, I'd recommend it. But it's hard without taking some of that stuff that's underneath it. Which, some of it is a little bit of fat from the bones, but it is also very related to that bone marrow. And if that's what you want, well, then I guess you're going to have to make concessions. You know. Just keep your jar in a cool, dark place. The colder, the better. Just not freezing. Alright. So I guess I'll do this for a little while. Hold on. Okay, so I took off some. Right? You can see it's already separating. There's way too much going on in there. So what I did is I cheated. I took some paper towel and I just tapped it, right? Flipped it over, opened it up, folded it. Right? So now we got a whole bunch of greasy paper towels. Okay? I'm kind of cheating here. Just lightly to collect. So now that I've disturbed it, I'm going to leave it for a few more minutes, right? And then I'm just going to do that again, because you don't really want that kind of grease, because for sure, you know, it doesn't even, this is why you put these things in the fridge for the night, so everything can solidify, so you can come just with a spoon and scrape it off. But we can't do that right now, because I got other things in the fridge. So from what I can see now, and now you can start to see like little air bubbles going on in there, which is telling you you're getting away from the grease, and now you're coming more into actual broth itself with bone marrow. That a lot of that is bone marrow. I mean, some of it's some of the little bit of fat on the bone itself, but there's a difference between that fat and this grease, which is more like an oil, and I don't want that. Right, because I don't want these jars popping any more than they need to be, if at all, right? So I don't care if I lose a little bit of whatever, because that's a big pot anyway. I won't even use it all. But I will end up getting good beef broth out of it after it's all said and done. Oh, so like, oh, you don't even know. It's okay, so let me just come back. Okay, so basically you kind of want it looking like that. Right? Now you can actually see the broth. Well, again, you see better than me, right? You can see the broth underneath. Now there's probably still a little bit of grease, but you know, it's okay. That's good. There. Now you're looking at broth versus a whole lot of grease, right? With a little bit of that bone marrow, not including what's mixed up into the pot itself. Right? Now, there's probably going to still be a fair amount of grease, but when you bring it to your mouth, no, not really. So, but it has no real flavor other than a bone broth. So once I put the beef in there and infuse the juices from the beef into the broth, then it's going to be 100 times better. So before I do that though, I want to do this. Those are the dehydrated potatoes. I grind them up and put them into jars, so hold on. See, I only really have this little space here to do what I gotta do. I've got big ass pots and bowls and you know, that kind of stuff. So before I take over the counter and the stove, my bowl's there now, right? I got bigger bowls than this. Isn't that a beautiful bowl? That bowl is so nice when you make bread. And I even got bigger ones in my little pantry, only I can't ever get to them because, you know, it's just like whatever. I put more in here. Oh boy. Try and make it as powdery as you can. Now I don't overdo it, but I hear the powder, the more powdery it is, the better it is. But whatever. Okay, so after you do this, just make sure that you let it air out for a little while, because it's warm, because of the heat from the spinning, right? So let it cool down before you seal it up in the jar. And even then, after the fact, you can see this is very fine. Yeah, it's fine. Right. And then after it's in the jar, after it cools, like move it around, right? And I gotta move it kind of away from that because you know, it might pick up the moisture in the air. Just put it over there. I don't think I have a lid. Oh yeah, I guess I could cover that up. There we go. And then when it's in the jar after the fact, right? Mashed potatoes, these are white ones. Just hold on a minute. What am I doing? Okay, this one is I have to top it off because I said it was slight. I put down slightly sour. But these other ones that have just regular fresh milk kind of coming in with the same smell. So I don't know if that's the potato doing that as it's dehydrating, right? Or if it's the milk as it's dehydrating. It's not a bad smell, but it smells a little like sour cream, right? Although I don't think that when you cook them up with butter and milk and little salt, I don't think it's going to be like that. But after you do that, let it cool down, move it around, put it in your jar, and then still shake it a bit, right? Just to make sure, eh? And these ones are the white potatoes. So I'll finish, because that's white potatoes. So I'll finish up this jar. And then I think this one here might be a Mod Podge russet, something else, I don't know. Russet, maybe russet. So either or, I'm working on it. I like it. It's gonna come on. It's gonna come in really handy, right? So hold on. Okay. So basically, I'm extremely depressed. Why wouldn't I? All I can think about is black mold growing in the basement because of the next quote-unquote flooding of the garage. Or perhaps infections on the hands or the feet, quite possibly even gangrene, because when it floods, it will be really, really cold, and if we have to bail like we were bailing just a week, 2 weeks ago, and ain't nobody coming to help, and it's pitch dark as the basement is flooding, and you can't say I'm fantasizing about this because it's already happened, minus the freezing cold temperatures with pouring rain. I'm just saying. Right? It's not a 5-minute job, you know. Right? And being gaslighted and intimidated and threatened and humiliated and insulted and right? You know, guilt tripped. For what? Like, it's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting.
What is?
Never mind, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the camera. Okay, so I was going to do what I said I was going to do, but I'm so depressed. Like, I'm crashing hardcore here, people. Like, does this family, woman, whoever is instigating this shit, think that it's fucking just gonna go away in terms of ignore the pipes or whatever and she'll just leave? Where do they expect me to go? They own what? I'm gonna look around and see a house for rent for $35,000, $4,000, $4,500 a month, as if I can afford that, right? Call them up and find out it's them that own it? Oh yeah, okay. Hell, they'd seen my number and they just wouldn't answer the fucking phone. And then we wonder why Shimei was illegally harvested at the Surrey Memorial Hospital by a fucking Punjabi with a fucking turban that came from fucking India that can barely speak English, okay? As well as Amari being injured at the time of his birth by another freaking female, this time Punjabi. And don't tell me they ain't fucking targeting certain individuals, because ultimately at the end of the day, they don't let their kids talk to other kids that don't look like them for a reason. And what do you think that reason is? I'd be very surprised if my landlady actually had just bypass with the arteries. I don't believe it, people. I don't. She probably had a fucking heart transplant so that she can live a long and prosperous life. Ha ha ha. Yeah. And buy love from her quote-unquote family as she fucks over other people's families. And teaches her kids to do the same. And now she's going to be badgering me for $3,000 a fucking month. She's going to come to me in January, if not sooner. She's just preparing me. right? Because she raised it again in January. She raised it in April of last year and then January of this year. So she dropping the queue. She wants $3 fucking grand. Yeah, okay, I don't think so. So what? You're just not gonna fix the fucking pipes? Let my son freeze his fucking ass outside? Let me outside freeze my ass outside? Have us running around back and forth in the middle of the night, fucking watching the water line, and it ain't gonna go anywhere except higher and higher and higher? Flood out the fucking basement as if I don't got enough fucking problems down there with freaking mildew growing here, there, all underneath the carpet? Like, fuck. It's stupid. It's stupid. All I've ever done is work like a fucking dog for that woman and her family. I came into this yard, I'm like, I woke up, I seen when the weather came, because I moved in December, right? So I didn't get out until spring. And boy, oh boy, once I got out there, that was it. I was a slave. And I gave it my best fucking shot. And I was always polite to her. I cared about her. When she climbing the fucking plum tree, for crying out loud. I would have gave my fucking life for her. If she fell, I would have hit the ground first before I'd allow her to hit the fucking ground. And it's her people who are destroying my family's life. Including her fucking self. So they can go have their little Visaki parade. When the lockdowns came, and everybody couldn't go do nothing, I told that fucking Punjabi board director, look why don't we just gather and have a fucking Visaki parade out in the streets? You know, they can't stop us. Just go out there and fucking, oh no, you gotta do what the government says. Take this, because if you don't, there's something, you know, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Well, I'm not doing that neither, and I'm not, yeah, right, whatever. And then you get the rumors that they're sneaking around with fucking saline solution in their syringes as they're cutting backroom deals at the fucking going into the temple, because at one point they had to prove, right, that they had, right, they had to prove it, and of course not all of them did it, but they were getting fucking green passes because they're not so fucking religious. Far from it. Far fucking from it. Three dead already. What's she going for? Number 4? 5? Like, you're stupid. For nobody that knows, because you're sitting up in La La Land, and it hasn't fucking come knocking on your fucking doorstep yet in terms of your neighborhood, your community. Forget about fucking Canada. They're everywhere. But some places in the United States, maybe not so much. All it takes is one, and then before you know it, you have a fucking infestation. And once you get the fucking infestation, you might as well kiss your life goodbye. Seriously. That's it. Because they have no respect for fucking their fellow man. Period. They don't. All they care about is fucking money, body parts when they need it, bragging rights with their houses and whatever else they flash around. And just thinking that they're better than everybody else because their temple said so. And that they're the only ones that are allowed to be at fucking peace. And everybody else around them has to be fucking miserable. So, I am just, there's the bone broth. I'm taking all of this and I'm putting it in there and I'm heating it up, bring it to a bowl, turn it down, and I'm filling up what fucking jars I have, and I'm gonna can it. As I go to bed, at some point, sleep, having a nervous breakdown, wondering if I'm gonna get up in the fucking morning and have to go outside and help my son so he's not out there by himself building a fucking old leaky boat that's being used as a tool to harm my family. For money! So you can go to your Visaki parade, but you don't have the fucking balls to do it here in fucking Canada because you're too busy doing what the government said. No, you weren't doing what the government said. You just wanted other people like me to do it so that, maybe we just kick off sooner. Well, you were cutting your little fucking backroom deals at the temple. Lying! Before you'd even walk through the door. In other words, yeah, I got it, but secretly I didn't. Let me in. Shh, don't tell anybody. I don't know why people think that fucking Punjabi people and those kind of people, Hindus and all them, are so fucking religious and so morally righteous, where they never, ever, ever commit any kind of fucking sin. Because they don't believe in God. So maybe that's why they don't commit no fucking sins. Never do no wrong. Never do no harm. Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. What a joke. What a fucking joke. Wait till her son shows up. Starts screaming at me as she's standing behind me with her fucking cell phone on me, zapping me with fucking energy weapons. And then I turn around and look at her and she's smiling at me as he's fucking insulting me. Yeah, okay. Threatening me. Yeah, okay. I don't go around abusing disabled people, poor people, fucking old people. People who are injured by my people and then stand up there and deny it. Only because you don't want to acknowledge what's going on because you're waiting for the next fucking heart when you need it. Like I said, it's a Punjabi that's walking around with my daughter's heart in their body. 2 of them. Damn rights. And they figured just because they don't talk about it, they'll never get caught. Well, they did get caught. Dr. what? Barr? With his own operating team coming in from Vancouver to look after Shanae? Yeah, okay. As a gynecologist? Sure. No, he came in and he fucking pillaged her body. That's what he did. And then he sold those fucking organs at the temple. And that's why she needs more money. Because that's the only way they can survive. They can't fucking die with dignity. I'm so tired of being fucking traumatized, man. Like, you don't even know. Tired of sounding like a damn broken record over the same stupid shit. This is the easiest and the fastest way to do it. I don't care about how many grams are in the jar. Nah, I'll weigh it out after the fact if I want to. Whatever. As if anybody gives a shit. Like I said, Amari was forgotten about a long time ago, including from my landlords. They just see him as a fucking burden and a commodity to exploit. That's it. Because they already did it with their fucking doctor that delivered him. Oh, that's my hair. I'm always losing my hair. Yeah. Told you I'll probably die in this house. Everything those people want. And if they don't want that, then they want me dead out on the streets. So they can walk around feeling good about themselves because the right trash is just laying there with the rest of the fucking garbage on the streets. Yeah. Welcome to the community. So sick of it. I'm so afraid. I'm so fucking afraid. You don't even know how fucking afraid I am. You'd never be happy. They've never wanted us happy, ever. And any happy lie that they fed us was just a happy lie. That's all it was. Because it's always been hard living here. And she makes it harder and harder and harder. Because she's vindictive and spiteful if you can't give her what she wants. And the only fucking thing that she wants is money. Because then she can go back to her community and buy their love and respect. She doesn't care if I respect her. Hell no. Because she's above me. So why the fuck would she care? She doesn't. And the same is applicable to the whole fucking clan in terms of what walks through the door at the temple, because it's a beehive mentality. And that's why they don't let their kids talk to other kids that don't look like them. And don't ever tell me that they're not fucking racist. Who cares, right? What does it matter? Does it matter? Is this, what does this represent? Not wealth, that's for sure, right? Like I said, a big waste of time. You're just wasting it on a little boy that's gonna end up being tossed off to the fucking curb pretty soon by greedy ass fucking landlords.